17 News at noon begins with breaking news.
I'm Alex Fisher, and we begin noon with new developments in a story we've been following overnight. A gruesome murder in Tehachapi, where the son allegedly killed his mother. And just moments ago, the county coroner just released the woman's name. 17's Amber Frias is joining us from Tehachapi with these details just coming into our newsroom just minutes ago. Amber, what can you tell us?
That's right, Alex. Like you mentioned, last night at 5 o'clock, we brought you the breaking news, the latest on this investigation in the homicide here at the 21,800 block of Quail Springs in Golden Hills. And like you mentioned, the coroner just released the victim's name a few minutes ago, and that is 55-year-old Guadalupe Adams. Now, also, a few hours after we reported this homicide here yesterday, we learned about a separate incident involving a police chase that resulted in an officer-involved shooting at the California-Nevada border. Now, details that emerged from both incidents brought up a connection between the two. Now, according to the sheriff's office, they received a call for a welfare check on this residence here in Golden Hills at around 2 in the afternoon yesterday. When they arrived, they found the woman dead with traumatic injuries. No other information was released at that time. And then 5 hours later, the separate incident involving the homicide suspect near the Nevada state line put all local law enforcement on alert. Now, according to police sources, law enforcement chased the homicide suspect to the Nevada state line, causing the closure of Interstate 15 in both directions. The incident ended with the suspect shooting himself and officers returning fire. According to sources who spoke with our Las Vegas sister station KLAS, the suspect did die in that shooting. Those sources also said the suspect allegedly killed his mother and dismembered her in California. They added she was an employee of a correctional facility. Now, back in here in Golden Hills, neighbors told us the woman found dead in her home worked at the Tehachapi prison. We contacted the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation to ask if this was true, and they confirmed the name we provided belonged to a Tehachapi State Prison employee. Neighbors we spoke with are still in shock out here in this neighborhood. They tell us the woman and her son lived alone up here after her husband passed away a few years ago. The woman felt unsafe on her own, so she asked her son to come up and live with her. They never expected things would end like this.
They just seemed so, good for each other, and it just, there must have been something that really set him off. I don't know if he had any kind of mental disturbance, in his head, or something was going on, drugs. I have no idea about anything like that at all. But it just, for all the events that they had up here, the parties, the people, the kids would be swinging on these trees and riding their skateboards up and down the road. I don't know what that means.
Now, family has been stopping by here all morning. If you can see behind me, there's some flowers on the porch that they've left behind. Now, there is a press conference scheduled today with law enforcement to release more details on these incidents, and we will let you know whatever information we find out as soon as we do. But for now, live from Golden Hills, Amber Frias, 17 News.
Amber, thank you. Well, it was a bizarre end to a short police chase in downtown Bakersfield this morning. It all ended on Golden State Avenue near M Street. But just before that, police say someone threatened to shoot another person at a business on East California Avenue, but drove away. Police say they quickly found the person who allegedly made those threats and chased the car. The driver ended up crashing on Golden State Avenue. And when police went to search the car, they found something surprising, a toy.
The gun, which wasn't reported to us till later, was not actually a firearm. It was a Nerf gun.
Police say they took the driver into custody. No injuries were reported. All right, let's take a look at your forecast because we're seeing some rain make its way into Kern County, and at times it kind of, I don't want to say poured, but it was a pretty steady rainfall for a little bit.
And we've only picked up 200ths of an inch, so you blink and it's gone. But you can see here on radar, we still have some of these showers pushing into the area now, into the mountains out near Arvin, Mettler, Lamont. I want to show you a live picture out of Tehachapi, and it's relatively dry. This is a 58 if you've got to head out of town. So not a lot of moisture has made its way into the mountains. Bear Valley did get a little bit of snow. Zach Scow up there did send a little video, and there were some flurries, but we haven't had any accumulation of this snow. As we go throughout today, we'll continue to see some of these showers, but again, all coming to an end as we head into later on tonight, and then tomorrow looking good. 50 degrees on the temperature right now, westerly wind at 3, and as we take a look at the temperatures today, we're going to be in the lower 50s and then slipping back into the 40s this evening. Tehachapi at 37 right now. You have a northwest wind at 18, a wind advisory in place, and as we take a look at the temperatures for you today, we'll be in the 30s and then lower 30s as we approach midnight. We'll talk much more about the end of the work forecast coming up in just a little bit. But first, Alex, back over to you.
All right, Kev, thanks so much. Rockets hit the green zone in Iraq's capital a day after Iran launched missile attacks on bases housing U.S. and other coalition forces in Iraq. NBC's Richard Engel has more from Iraq.
Sirens over Baghdad overnight as rockets were fired at the green zone, home to American troops and the U.S. Embassy. The small, unguided rockets caused no damage. It's unclear who fired them, but what is clear is that tensions remain extremely high after Iran fired ballistic missiles at bases in Iraq housing American forces in retaliation for President Trump's order to kill Iran's top general outside Baghdad airport. President Trump gave his response on Wednesday.
We suffered no casualties. All of our soldiers are safe, and only minimal damage was sustained at our military bases. Our great American forces are prepared for anything. Iran appears to be standing down, which is a good thing for all parties concerned and a very good thing for the world.
He seemed to be looking for an off-ramp.
U.S. armed forces are stronger than ever before. The fact that we have this great military and equipment, however, does not mean we have to use it. We do not want to use it.
His comments coming as the administration gave classified briefings to select senators about why the president decided to kill the Iranian general now in Iraq. The administration says he was plotting imminent attacks against Americans. But even some members of the president's own party were unconvinced the administration made its case.
Probably the worst briefing I've seen, at least on a military issue, in the 9 years I've served in the United States Senate. I walked into the briefing undecided. I walked out decided, specifically because of what happened in that briefing.
Our duty under the Constitution is for us to debate when we go to war, and we, for one, are not going to abdicate that duty.
Those two senators now announcing they'll support a Democratic effort to force the president to get congressional approval before any escalation with Iran.
Most Republicans, however, seem to be sticking with the president, while others, including now the Pope, are warning of the dangers of this tension between the United States and Iran. Richard Engel, NBC News, Erbil, Iraq.
Good afternoon from Washington. U.S. officials are telling NBC News that now the evidence suggests to U.S. officials that, in fact, that Ukrainian jetliner that went down in Tehran with 176 people on board, that jetliner was shot down, mistakenly, it is presumed, by Iranian forces who were on pins and needles and very worried about a U.S. counterattack after they had just fired missiles at U.S. bases in Iraq. Now, we will tell you that the Iranians still insist it was not a missile attack, that in fact a mechanical issue brought down that plane. But U.S. aviation sources have told us for the last 36 hours that all of the evidence they see suggests that in fact it was a missile strike. And now U.S. intelligence sources say the same thing. A lot of moving pieces on this. We'll have the complete story on NBC Nightly News. Back to you.
Overnight, a student at Bakersfield High School was arrested, accused of threatening a school shooting. Kern High School District Police arrested a teenage girl. The district says the student posted threats on Snapchat. It was allegedly about a shooting at a Stockdale High School sporting event. BPD and Kern High Police say the threat was not credible. They identified the suspect, or the student rather, and arrested her. The district says Stockdale parents were called yesterday about the threat. It has been 3 months since the city of Bakersfield implemented a human waste cleanup program, and last night the city council voted to extend and expand it. The pilot program launched in downtown Bakersfield and Old Town Kern on September 30th. And since that time, there have been hundreds of calls for cleanup in the service areas. Yesterday, the city council voted to extend the program another 3 months and expand the hours of service from 20 to 26. Part of the agreement also calls for the Bakersfield Homeless Center to perform general cleanup downtown and in Old Town Kern. This is all funded through Measure N resources. The City Council also approved a multi-million-dollar request for state funds to help with Kern's homelessness problem. If the more than $30.3 million is approved, the city says it will work with community partners to determine how best to allocate the money to address homeless concerns in Kern County. Also at last night's council meeting, a heartfelt thank you and goodbye to the longest-serving Bakersfield City Manager, Alan Tandy.
But you are a doer. You have done us proud. Your hard work. You know, you led by example. You expected a lot, but no more than you gave.
And you've really been a rock for this community. And when I think of one word for you, I think it's stability. You provided stability for 27 years to the city of Bakersfield, and we thank you for it.
For 27 years, Alan Tandy has been at the helm of the city's operations, and now he is retiring. Tandy received accolades and recognition from council members and state lawmakers, as well as Bakersfield Congressman Kevin McCarthy, who entered Tandy's name in the Congressional Record Reports. 17 News is your local election headquarters, and a quick reminder, if you vote by mail with no party preference, you are not allowed to vote for presidential candidates in the upcoming March election, unless you fill out this form. The form asks you which party's presidential ballot you wish to fill out. You can request a ballot only for the Democratic Party, American Independent Party, and the Libertarian Party. The form does not include the Republican, Green, or Peace and Freedom parties because they hold what are called closed primaries. Those are primaries that are only open to voters registered in the Republican, Green, or Peace and Green parties. And however, the primaries held by the Democratic, American Independent, and Libertarian parties are open to everyone. The form is due by tomorrow, but county elections representatives say they'll be flexible. So the date, so as long as you get it in as soon as possible. Meantime, if you wish to vote in any of the closed primaries, you will need to re-register. Well, once again, rain showers are making its way into Kern County, and we want to take you live outside from Tehachapi, where snow flurries were falling early this morning. Well, we've got to look at your forecast coming up after this. Welcome back. The first storm of 2020 making its way into Kern County, although it's not a terribly huge storm, but enough to at least put some measurable rain, right? Yeah, and we had a wave kind of come on through. It gave us about 200ths of an inch, and now we have another little wave of moisture moving through. This is downtown looking off to the east, and definitely some rain falling out there now in downtown once again. Show you our camera network here, and we've got 50 degrees and cloudy out in Wasco. Arvin, 51 degrees with some showers. And then Fraser Park, we've got some clouds, some sun, and 39. And then cloudy skies out of Golden Hills, and they're currently at 38 at this time. As we take a look at Bakersfield, 50 degrees, a west wind at 3. Again, only 200ths in the gauge with this so far. And then overnight, we're at 45. So above the normal of 39. And today's high normal is 55. We should be right near 50. And you can see valley temperatures in the lower 50s right now. Taft at 48. And then we've got 30s and 40s into the mountains with Tehachapi at 37, 48 out of Lake Isabella. Here's a look at satellite and radar. You can see this is the wave of moisture that just kind of pushed through the downtown area, now moving east. You look to the north and west of it, and we've got a dry slot. So this is all pretty much going to come to an end by tonight. And then by tomorrow, to end out the work week, we should be mostly sunny. You can see not a lot happening over I-5 and Fraser Mountain Road, and this camera is not distorted. What you see here is raindrops on the camera lens, and that's why it kind of looks like something's wrong with the camera. So we are getting a little bit of rain out that way. So if you're traveling that direction, keep that in mind. Here's a look at the regional view. Some snow in the Sierra, but look to the north. Things really start to dry out. So once this pushes through, then we get a little bit of ridging in place, and that's going to help to clear us out the next several days. And another system we'll track for next week, and by Tuesday, maybe bringing a little bit more rain our direction. So here's a look at Futurecast, put it into motion, and you can see here, other than the showers we're seeing right now, the 18-hour high-resolution Futurecast model doesn't want to put much more around the area. So we will continue to see these little showers, and you can see our Futurecast model puts in about 400ths of an inch. So we may pick up an additional
total. 207-inch before this is all said and done. We have a wind advisory until 7 o'clock tonight for the Kern County mountains. Winds gusting near 45 and sustained out of the west-northwest 20 to 30. And overall, the forecast today will call for mostly cloudy skies and temperatures right near 50. I think we'll probably near our high for the day right now. A northwest wind 5 to 10. And then for the mountains, so we'll look for rain. And we've had a few snow flurries. I'm not expecting any accumulation. And it will be a windy day as mentioned. 41 in Frazier Park, 39 in Tehachapi with 40s out of the Kern River Valley. And then for the desert today, look for a little bit of sunshine. Not expecting much in terms of rain. Maybe by the time this kind of exits east, might have a little bit left in Mojave to maybe pick up a trace. And then your extended forecast. Tomorrow we may see the redevelopment of fog, so keep that in mind. But we'll warm it up about 5 degrees. 50s across the board, and then a 30% chance of maybe some showers by next Tuesday. For the mountains, tomorrow we should see more sunshine. A little bit on the windy side. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Chance of some rain, snow showers again by next Tuesday. And then for the Kern River Valley, we'll warm things up tomorrow under sunny skies and 53. And then another shot of seeing some of the rain, snow showers by next Tuesday. So I'm not expecting much more out of this. Maybe pick up another 207-inch, depending, maybe a little more in some of the heavier showers. But I'm guessing by 7 o'clock tonight it'll be east of us.
Okay, well I guess the good news is that it's not going to necessarily impact our passes or anything like that.
No, it might be slick because of the rain, or right. Even if we see the flurries, I think it'll melt once it hits the ground. So
hey, but we'll take it.
We'll take it, and I know Alyssa Carlson will be watching that tonight and see if it's going to continue to exit the area.
All right, perfect. Thanks so much, Kev. Well, still to come, a local eatery is being recognized as one of the best places in the nation. The local lunch spot that's ranked high on the list.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back. A longtime bait shop is about to close after more than 30 years. Bob's Kern River Bait on Niles Street first opened in 1985. Store manager Ben Rutledge says the business is being dragged down by state laws that make it pricier to buy fishing products, combined with the growing popularity of online shopping.
With the internet sales and the big box stores, small businesses are having a hard time competing.
He also says in July they will not be able to sell ammunition because they can't do background checks. Another blow to their sales. Rutledge says they're still in the process of closing the shop, but they aren't going away completely. He says their other location on South Chester Avenue will remain open. Yelp has put together a list of the top 100 places to eat this year, and Bakersfield made the grade. The list was based on reviews and ratings, plus input from Yelp's community managers. For Bakersfield, the popular barbecue joint Pork Chop and Bubba's ranked 14th on the list. If you're a fan of Karen Wa's Pop Kern, you may remember when she took us inside the kitchen at Pork Chop and Bubba's while looking for the best barbecue in town. Many viewers recommended the place in our comment section. It's not the only Californian restaurant that placed high on the list. Shawarma Guys in San Diego took the top spot, while Pieces Pokey and Ramen took second. If you want to watch any of our Popcorn episodes, you can just head to our website, kget.com. Just go to the community tab to find a special webpage. I actually had Pork Chop and Bubba's today for lunch. It was pretty good. All right, more news coming up after this. Welcome back. Kern County's grand jury is the watchdog over city and county governments in Kern, making sure they operate efficiently and spending your tax dollars appropriately. And the grand jury is looking for volunteers. If you would like to be considered for a seat on the Kern County grand jury in 2020, applications are being accepted through March 21st. The panel consists of 19 citizen jurors who are interviewed and then nominated by a committee of Kern County Superior Court judges. Grand jurors are selected in June through a random drawing in open court. Applicants must be willing to spend approximately 20 hours a week performing various tasks, from government oversight to investigating allegations against public figures, even issuing criminal indictments in some cases. You must be at least 18 years old and have resided in Kern County for at least a year. Grand jurors serve for 1 year. For more information, you can contact the grand jury office on Truxton Avenue and call 868-4797. Applications are also available online. You can find all this information on our own website, kget.com. Just search for the hot link icon. Today is the last day to donate to Bakersfield Assemblyman Vince Fong's Winter Shoe and Sock Drive. Here's a look at what has been collected so far. Fong has focused this year's drive on students at Beardsley Elementary School in Oildale. He's seeking socks and shoes for kids in sizes 1 to 7. to help disadvantaged students get through the wet winter months. You can drop off your donations until 5 p.m. today at Assemblyman Fong's district office at 4550 California Avenue, Suite 740 in Southwest Bakersfield. For more information, call 395-2995 or email assemblymember.fong@assembly.gov. Want to get your pet vaccinated, but you just can't afford it? The city of Bakersfield has you covered. Low-cost animal vaccine clinics are coming back on Saturday. The City Animal Control Office offers discounted vaccines at these clinics and at local parks, making it more convenient for you to keep your furry friends healthy and happy. The clinics are held on the second Saturday of each month from 9 a.m. until noon, and this Saturday, the location is at the Park at Riverwalk on Stockdale Highway. You can have your pet vaccinated, licensed, and microchipped in one stop. Spay and neuter vouchers from the city of Bakersfield will also be available, and volunteers will be on site to discuss spay and neuter options. And you can find more information on our website, kget.com. It is another sweet success story from Compassion Corner, and you helped make it happen. It was all for the Alzheimer's Disease Association of Kern County.
We added 500 more to our count, so we had 3,000 pans to sell, and we are down to final numbers, actually selling them out of my car. So it's been an amazing day.
Folks started showing up outside our studios yesterday morning during 17 News at sunrise, and it pretty much stayed that way until mid-afternoon. More than $34,000 was raised. Funds will help pay for daycare services at 88KC. And some good news, there are still pans of cinnamon rolls left. So if you'd still like to purchase some, you can just go to the 88KC office on Buena Vista Road. And again, thank you to everyone who came out to support the Alzheimer's Disease Association of Kern County. They raised $34,000. That's just so great to hear. All right, when we come back here on 17 News at noon, it's an interesting story on Christmas Day.
All right, here's a story from the You Can't Make This Up file, and I don't advise this anybody at home to try.
Yeah. A Georgia man breaks into a Taco Bell to make himself a meal and take a nap. The reason why we're talking about this story is because we talked about it this morning on 17 News at sunrise, and Kevin just
I didn't read the story ahead of time, so I'm like, oh yeah, I would totally do this, you know. And then as I watched the story
and
more,
then you saw the video.
I'm like, oh, he broke into the Taco Bell, he stole their food, and then he took a nap. I like to eat, so
you like to eat and take a nap.
That's all I was saying.
So this is all interesting, but so he then made the food, and then we'll show you right here that he then later took a nap.
After all this,
and then, but you would think, okay, maybe he was done. No, afterwards, he woke up about 3 hours later, and he woke up and fled the store. But he made it off with a laptop and tablet. So he did still, anyways.
Yeah.
It all happened on Christmas Day, too. It was an interesting story there. All right, thanks so much for joining us for 17 News at noon. We'll see you back here tonight at 5.